Hello and welcome to Kashmir Now. I'm your host Surbhi Sharma. Let's take a look at some stories of this week's episode. Pakistan continues to use terrorism as instrument of its state policy. Infrastructure in illegally occupied POK in shambles. Government turns a blind eye. Construction of footover bridge in Baramulla boosts connectivity in the region. Army distributes medicinal equipment in government school to prevent spread of COVID-19. And the fruit and vegetable mandis in Jammu and Kashmir soon to be linked with e-NAM. Pakistan's role in regional and global terrorism has been exposed time and again, but despite that, the state has continued using terrorism at its state policy to destabilize its neighboring countries. Providing safe havens and facilitating cross-border infiltrations are Pakistan's key tactics. But who has been most affected? And who is the real victim? It is the Kashmiris and Kashmir, which Pakistan rakes up at every international forum and peddles brazen lies about. We have a report.
Pakistan's unrelenting violence along the line of control has made it one of the most dangerous countries in the world. And all these attacks that are a part of its wider agenda of hampering peace in India have been carried out at the pretext of fight for Kashmiris. The facts, however, point towards an entirely different story. It is the Kashmiris who have suffered most, and it is they who have lost maximum in Pakistan's so-called struggle for Kashmiris. Tens of hundreds have become direct targets of Pakistani mercenaries. Hundreds others have been separated from their friends and families, and numerous others live under a constant fear of getting shelled from Pakistan forces. While Pakistan's multiple military ambitions spanning from Operation Gibraltar to Operation Topak to gain control of Kashmir were thwarted successfully by Indian security forces, its proxy war through terrorists is continuing even today. Recently, many international political observers who were gathered on a webinar called out Pakistan, saying it had blood of Kashmiris on its hand.
पाकिस्तान ने फिर 1965 के अंदर छापा मार जो मिलिट्री गोरिल्लास थे, रेगुलर आर्मी के वो ट्रूप्स भेजे और अल्टीमेटली 1965 की जो वॉर हुई बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान, उसमें भी अल्टीमेटली पाकिस्तान नाकाम हुआ और उसको कहते हैं ऑपरेशन जबराल्टर। अब उन कोशिशों जो जोर जबरदस्ती से अपने ट्रूप्स के जरिए, अपने लाइट लिस्टों के जरिए कश्मीर को हासिल करने की कोशिश थी, उस कोशिश के नाकाम होने के बाद फिर 88 के अंदर ऑपरेशन टपैक का स्टार्ट हुआ। और ये सारी जंगें अगर ये सारे ऑपरेशंस जो थे, ये दरअसल रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर के अवाम के खिलाफ थे। उन पे एक टेररिज्म मुसल्लत किया गया और उसके नतीजे में आज जो 88 से लेके इस वक्त तक जो कुछ भी चल रहा है, ये ऑपरेशन टपैक का जो है वो पूरा एक प्लान है।
Today, Pakistan has become the epicenter of international terrorism, and this has also been realized by the international community. Many responsible states, including India, have time and again called on Pakistan to end cross-border infiltration and dismantle the terror infrastructure, but all have been in vain. Many a times, Pakistani leaders have openly admitted that they train terrorist groups and use them as their assets, and all this is done under the supervision of the state's military dictators. Gilgit-Baltistan and POK leaders who have lived in the immediate vicinity of Pakistan's terror camps accuse Pakistan Army of providing both money and arms to terrorists.
ये तो एक ओपन सीक्रेट है कि जी ये जो मिलिटेंट ग्रुप्स हैं, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट ग्रुप्स हैं, ये कहाँ से ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं? तो ये तो परवेज मुशर्रफ जो मिलिट्री डिक्टेटर रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान के प्रेसिडेंट रहे हैं, तो उन्होंने खुद एडमिट किया कि हम इन लोगों को ट्रेन करते रहे हैं, इनको भेजते रहे हैं, ये हमारे एसेट्स हैं। और आज भी अगर आप देखें कि डिस्पाइट ऑफ यूएन की उनकी वो बैंड है यूएन की तरफ से, यूएसए ने वो बैन किए हैं, लेकिन वो बड़ी बड़ी रैलीज को ऐड करते हैं, मुजफ्फराबाद भी जाते हैं, बाकी जगहों पे भी जाते हैं और उनको फुल प्रोटोकॉल मिलता है। तो इसमें एक और चीज जो आपने कहा कि जो पाकिस्तान की गवर्नमेंट से, तो पाकिस्तान में का अलमिया यह है कि वहाँ की जो सिविलियन गवर्नमेंट्स हैं तो उनकी जो डोमेन है ही नहीं कि जो डिफेंस हो गया, फॉरेन पॉलिसी हो गई, ये सब मिलिट्री कंट्रोल करती है और ये लास्ट 73 ईयर से यही हो रहा है।
Spreading terrorism, extremism and religious intolerance in Jammu and Kashmir, POK and Gilgit-Baltistan still continue to top Pakistan's satanic agenda of perennially keeping these regions unstable and disharmonized. But the irony is, Pakistan portrays its military, financial and logistical support to cross-border terrorism as a freedom struggle that it has been leading on the behalf of Kashmiri people, which is nothing but a colossal propaganda.
While Pakistan keeps on shedding crocodile tears for the people living in Jammu and Kashmir and leaves no opportunity to spread lies about India, its true face gets exposed when we look at the condition of people living in its illegally occupied territories. For the last 7 decades, these people have been drilling due to the unavailability of basic facilities in their region, but the local government that works in cahoots with Islamabad doesn't pay any heed to their problems and has left them to suffer in silence.
Pakistan has been for years exploiting the resources of illegally occupied region of POK, but in return, it has given nothing to the people who are the real stakeholders, and if something has been given, it is only suffering. Be it education, road or medical infrastructure, everything is lying in a crumbling state. The successive governments have just passed the ball from one court to another and have nothing for the development of the region. School buildings in several areas of the region, like the one in Gail Jabra, are lying demolished, but the government is not at all concerned.
हमारे इलाके में सबसे बड़ा मसला प्राइमरी स्कूल का, उसकी इमारत थी, ज़लज़ले में वो इमारत तबाह हुई, अभी तक नहीं बनी। वो डोगरा दौर का प्राइमरी स्कूल है, उसके साथ वाले बिगड़ हो गए हैं, हाई हो गए हैं। अब ग्रेड होना तो दूर की बात है, वहाँ तो इमारत भी नहीं है।
The roads that play a major role in the region's development are also poorly maintained. The locals of Gail Jabra area say that even though they belong to the constituency of the Prime Minister, still no attention is paid by the authorities.
सब मसला ये है हमारी सड़कों का, सड़कों में कोई हाल नहीं है। मतलब है वहाँ मतलब है कोई गवर्नमेंट तवज्जो दे, PWD के पास ऑलरेडी वो रोड है, लेकिन PWD मतलब है जैसे पहले तामन करती थी, अभी वो नहीं है। मौके पे देख भी रहे हैं। ये हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब जनाब फारूक हैदर साहब का हल्का है।
The medical infrastructure too is in shambles in the area. The basic health unit that treats the people of around 10 villages has no senior medical official in it, and even after the repeated pleas of the locals, no one is posted in the area.
BHU गैल जबड़ा में तो सुना था कि मेरे मेडिकल ऑफिसर तैनात कर दिया गया, उसका अभी तक नहीं पता चला कि है भी या नहीं। अभी तक तो हमें देखा नहीं, लिहाजा उसमें 10 गांव का वो हॉस्पिटल है, वहाँ कोई बड़ा जो मेडिकल ऑफिसर है कम अज़ कम हफ्ते में महीने में 4 बार जाए, हमें भी खुशी हो। वो जो
The regional governments that work in cahoots with Islamabad have done nothing for the development of entire POK region and its people in these many years, and have only pushed the region to the state of abject poverty.
Moving on, adequate infrastructure by ways of well-maintained roadways and railways network is necessary for interconnecting different regions and initiating trade and commerce between them. After the abrogation of Article 370, authorities in Jammu and Kashmir are working tirelessly to boost infrastructural development in the region. Taking another step in this direction, a footbridge is being constructed in Baramulla district to boost connectivity in the region.
The construction of a foot-over bridge that will connect the old and new towns of the Baramulla district is underway. Washed away during the heavy floods that occurred in the year 2014, authorities decided to rebuild the bridge and restore the mode of commutation for the locals, therefore boosting trade and commerce in the region.
जहाँ तक इस ओल्ड टाउन के ब्रिज का ताल्लुक है, जब यहाँ पे जम्मू एंड कश्मीर रियासत का दर्जा रखता था और फ्लड्स में जो है इस पुल को काफ़ी ज़्यादा नुकसान हुआ था, ये जो ओल्ड टाउन का ब्रिज है ये फिर से कंप्लीट होगा या नहीं होगा, या और भी सारे जो तामीराती काम है वो होंगे या नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि ये जो ब्रिज है ये एक ऐसा कंजक्शन है न्यू टाउन और ओल्ड टाउन के दरमियान, जिसपे मुझे लगता है ओल्ड टाउन भी डिपेंडेंट है और न्यू टाउन भी डिपेंडेंट है। अब अगर इस ब्रिज की बात करें तो यूटी बनने के बाद जो है हमारा ब्रिज ये है, ये इस पे काम शुरू हो गया है और खत्म होने की कगार पे है।
उसमें ऑलमोस्ट अभी तक जो है 80% काम हो चुका है और आगे आने वाले मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि अगस्त तक हमने उनको टारगेट दिया हुआ है और 15 अगस्त से लेकर के 20 अगस्त तक जो है मैंने उनको बताया काम कंप्लीट करने के लिए। तो मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि उस ब्रिज के मुकम्मल होने से जो हमारा ओल्ड टाउन है और जो हमारा अप टाउन है उसके बीच में एक अच्छा एक कनेक्टिविटी बन जाएगी और बिजनेस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट एक जो है लिंक बन जाएगी।
Undertaken by the Public Works, Roadways and Buildings Department of Jammu and Kashmir, the construction work of this bridge was started in the year 2019 with a budget of Rs 5.25 crores. In the absence of this bridge, locals in the Old Town area of Baramulla had to board a boat to cross the river and reach the new town, where almost all the big business establishments, educational institutes and government hospitals, including the District Hospital of Baramulla, are situated. With the construction of this bridge, employment opportunities will also open up for the locals, and therefore the labourers too are working tirelessly to complete the project.
बस ये वारिया कुछ करना जत कलस मगन जनाब रादो करान कम अहन मान वारिया नून त मतलब नाय मज तर नून तरान वारिया कुछ वारिया जल्द ग तैयार गन अहन रादो करान कम।
After the abrogation of Article 370, a number of projects have been undertaken by the Roadways and Buildings Department of Jammu and Kashmir in order to boost connectivity in the Union Territory. Under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, 214 projects were completed with an investment of Rs 642.76 crore. A road length of 1,048 kilometers was blacktopped, thereby providing connectivity to 118 habitations. 3 bridges, namely 445 meters span bridge over River Uj, 2,000 meters bridge Indar Patain Pargawal and multi-span bridge over Nala Bisho on Pambe Adijan Damhal Road are under construction and are expected to be completed by next year. 6 road projects, namely improvement and upgradation of Hatli Road Kathua, upgradation of Udhampur Ghordi Road, upgradation of Kotaranka Khawas Road, upgradation of Khanabal Pahalgam Road, widening and upgradation of the road from NHIA Sangam to Srigofwara via Khairam, including Dargah Road, and upgradation of Maggam Biru Badgam Road are under construction and are to be completed in 2 years. Development is in full swing in the Union Territory and in Baramulla district too. Projects worth rupees 400 crore are underway.
बारामूला डिस्ट्रिक्ट में बहुत सारे डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो 2019-20 फाइनेंशियल ईयर में लिए गए थे हाथ में, और उनमें काफ़ी तेज़ी से काम शुरू हो गया था, जिसमें ख़ास तौर से हमारे लैंग्वेजिंग प्रोजेक्ट जो है 180 के करीब हैं, जो कि जो है ऑलमोस्ट 400 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से जो है वो इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहे हैं.
Connectivity is not only a key component of development, but also a key ingredient in ensuring sustainable poverty reduction. These several center-sponsored projects that being undertaken in the Union Territory will not only help in improving connectivity, but also link people living in far-flung areas to the mainstream areas, further improving their living conditions and paving the way towards a better, brighter and glorious future.
The Indian Army has been taking several initiatives for the betterment of people in Jammu and Kashmir amid these COVID-19 crises, from distributing essentials to holding awareness campaigns for commoners. It has gone an extra mile to help citizens. Recently, it distributed medical supplies at a government high school in Srinagar. Have a look.
Always coming forward to help the citizens in any adverse situation, the Indian Army has proved to be a savior and a guide for the society. In order to prevent COVID-19 disease to spread further, medical supplies and equipments like hand sanitizers, personal protection gears, hand gloves, disinfectant spray and more were distributed by the Indian Army at a government school in Rawalpora area of Srinagar.
मास्क, हैंड सैनिटाइजर्स और फेस शील्ड्स हैं जो कि स्कूल्स में सभी टीचर्स और बच्चों के लिए ज़रूरी होंगी और उनको इस महामारी से या इस डिजीज़ से लड़ने में और उनसे प्रिकॉशन इस्तेमाल करने में काम आएंगे.
The step was taken with the motive of preventing the spread of disease and contributing in keeping a check on COVID-19 spread among children in Kashmir, especially those coming from the underprivileged sections of the society. The Army provided medical supplies and equipments to staff of the school, which could be further handed over to the students who are in need. Teachers were also encouraged to make best use of the ideal integrated educational ecosystem and were given guidelines on educating their students regarding safety measures to be taken during the pandemic.
आर्मी ने अपनी तरफ से बच्चों के लिए, स्टाफ के लिए जो आज ये वबा चल रहा है, इसके लिए कुछ एहतियाती तदाबीर, मास्क, सैनिटाइज़र, सोप और बाकी जो चीज़ें आज इस वबा को रुकाने के लिए ज़रूरत है, वो उन्हें हमारे स्कूल को फराहम की. हम इनका शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं और हम कोशिश करेंगे कि ये बच्चों और स्टाफ को पहुंच जाए. हम इसमें हाथ उनका मदद करेंगे, कोशिश करेंगे ताकि ये इन सबको पहुंच जाए.
The initiative was taken by the Indian Army under its Operation Sadbhavna. The Sadbhavna project was launched in the year 1997 by Army, wherein the government provides a higher quantum of funds to them which could be further utilized in organizing welfare activities for the affected population. Indian Army's work under this project has played a significant role in the overall development and upliftment of the territory. In times of the pandemic, the Army has organized medical camps, awareness drives and distribution programs to play their part in the fight against the virus.
Indian Army, part of a responsible organization, community का, हम पीछे भी सद्भावना में काफ़ी फील्ड्स के अंदर लोगों की मदद करते आ रहे हैं और उसी के एक कंटिन्यूटी में, जैसा कि आप सबको मालूम है, ये जो पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर जो ये पेंडेमिक के कारण जो बीमारी हो रखी है, उसकी मदद के लिए हमने सद्भावना में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सैनिटाइज इक्विपमेंट दिया है।
While the government of India is working effectively to control the pandemic, locals and organizations are also working hard in assisting them and successfully battling the spread.
With a vision to create a unified national market for all the agriculture produce, eNAM, a pan-India electronic trading portal for trading agriculture products, was launched in April 2016. Today, this portal has achieved an integration of 1,000 wholesale mandis located in 21 states and union territories. Recently, it was inaugurated at Narwal Mandi in Jammu, and it is being estimated that in the next 1 year, all the functional fruit and vegetable markets in the union territory would be connected with this portal in a phased manner. So today, let's see what all the benefits of eNAM and how it can prove to be a boon for the farmers of Jammu and Kashmir.
Farmers of Jammu and Kashmir are ready to go online for selling their produce with eNAM or Electronic National Agricultural Market, making a move in the mandis of the Union Territory. Presently, the portal is fully functional at the Parampura Mandi that falls in the Kashmir division and Narwal Mandi in the Jammu division. In order to trade on eNAM and avail the subsequent benefits, the farmers of Jammu and Kashmir have to register on this portal, and to do so, they can either visit these mandis along with a proper identity proof or can themselves do their registration at home. Farmers are happy to get registered, and many have also started receiving training on how to use this online platform.
गवर्नमेंट का अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है ये, तो अब नए तरीके से ट्रेडिंग होगी, इसमें किसान को रेट का पता लगेगा, जहाँ शार्ट होगी चीज़ वहाँ रेट ज़्यादा होगा, जहाँ ह्यूज क्वांटिटी में होगी वहाँ कम होगा, तो जहाँ भी रेट ज़्यादा होगा किसान उधर माल अपना बेचेगा। जब उसको अवेयरनेस आएगी उसी मार्केट में माल बेचेगा जहाँ उसकी कीमत अच्छी मिलेगी। तो गवर्नमेंट का अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है। गवर्नमेंट इसमें अपना अवेयरनेस जब ग्रोवर्स को पहुँचेगी तो उनको माल की अच्छी कीमत मिलेगी, नहीं घर बैठे पेमेंट मिलेगी, उसको बहुत फ़ायदा होगा।
Though eNAM has been launched at only 2 mandis in Jammu and Kashmir till now, but the detailed project reports of 13 other approved fruit and vegetable mandis have also been submitted by the Jammu and Kashmir Horticulture Department to the central government, and all these projects are expected to complete by 15th October. Once the portal is fully functional at these mandis, the farmer across the Union Territory will be able to derive several benefits like transparency in trade through better price discovery, access to more markets and buyers, real-time information on prices and arrival in nearby mandis, and the most important being the quick payments that will help them to build a healthy financial profile. Moreover, when the farmers will arrive at eNAM with their produce, they will be assigned a unique lot ID that will help them to keep a track on their produce from the mobile until it is sold. This digitization is aimed at reducing time of transaction in an eNAM mandi.
अक्सर ये माना गया है कि किसान को जो है उसके फसल का जो है सही दाम नहीं मिलता, और इसके पीछे 2 बड़ी वजह मानी जाती हैं। एक तो मंडियों में बिचौलियों का जाल और दूसरा मंडियों का किसानों से दूर होना। भारतीय सरकार ने इन दोनों मुश्किलों का जो है हल निकाला है। अब राष्ट्रीय कृषि बाज़ार से जो है किसान घर बैठे हुए अपने फसल का दाम जान सकता है और घर बैठे हुए अपने फसल को बेच सकता है। इसके लिए किसान को नहायत एक सादा तरीक़ाकार, जिसमें उसने अपने आप को रजिस्टर करवाना है। रजिस्ट्रेशन के थ्रू जो है उसका माल, उसने अपने माल का एक सैंपल आके मंडी में छोड़ना है, उसके सैंपल की असेंग होगी और उसको उसके फसल की क्या क्वालिटी है उसको जानने का उसको मौका मिलेगा।
The central government has also nominated an agency in Jammu and Kashmir for rigorous training of officials, farmers, traders to make them familiar about this e-marketing program. Moreover, pool of master trainers that will have 3 to 4 personnel in both Jammu and Kashmir division will also be created within the horticulture department to oversee the successful implementation of the program. In this current situation, when the whole country is in the grip of COVID-19, e-NAM has come out as a big asset for both farmers and traders who don't have to physically appear at the auction site for selling or bidding and can do all their work in the comfort of their home.
सबसे बड़ी चीज़ ये है कि इसमें जब फाइनल बिड होगी उसमें मुख्तलिफ मंडियों के जो रजिस्टर्ड ट्रेडर्स हैं वो जो है इस बिड में पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे। और एक चीज़ मैं यहाँ वाज़ह कर देना चाहता हूँ, कुछ लोग ये सोचते हैं कि सिर्फ किसान ओरिएंटेड है, ऐसा भी नहीं है। इसमें हमारे ट्रेडर्स जो हैं उनको भी बहुत फ़ायदा है। बहुत सारे ट्रेडर्स ऐसे हैं कि जो जिस मंडी में ये फसल आ रहा है वहाँ तक वो आ नहीं पाते हैं, वो ऑनलाइन जो है अपने अपनी मंडियों में बैठ के जो है इसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं। मान लीजिए हमारा सेब जो है पूरे हिंदुस्तान में जाता है, उस सेब के व्यापारी को यहाँ आने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो बेंगलोर में, बॉम्बे में, कलकत्ता में बैठ के जो है वहाँ से जो है इस बिड में पार्टिसिपेट कर सकता है और वहाँ से जो है अपना माल जो उसकी मंडी की रिक्वायरमेंट होगी वो वहाँ से बैठ के भी उसको परचेज कर सकता है थ्रू दिस ऑनलाइन पोर्टल जिसको हम राष्ट्रीय कृषि बाजार कहते हैं।
By getting registered on e-NAM, farmers in Jammu and Kashmir will be able to trade around 150 commodities including food grains, oilseeds, fibers, fruits and vegetables. Moreover, as the whole process is easy, transparent and free from all middlemen, it will ensure them with maximum benefits.
So that's all we have for you in this week's episode. Till we see you next week, it's a goodbye from the entire production team.